I know I'm late to this, but holy shit, I've orgasmed so much today. I'm taking this off. The Brand New Day trailer just came out, the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. I'm probably not going to go through it and talk about it in detail, but oh my god, it's so awesome. It's so freaking awesome. The Amazing Fantasy cover reference, the Todd McFarlane reference. I'm going to spoil the trailer, by the way. If you were planning on not watching this because you didn't want to get spoiled for it. I have been an avid not liker of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. Not Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but the films, if that makes sense to you, because I have a very nuanced opinion on the Spider-Man films. I've watched them all. I watched them all as I grew up, and I've watched them all multiple times growing up, and recently. Like last summer, I watched every piece of Spider-Man media that I could get on the internet, like that streamed on TV, and so I have a lot of opinions on some of this stuff, and holy, that was peak. That was peak. That was so peak. Everything is just amazing. My nuanced opinion on Tom Holland is I don't like his movies the most. But at the same time, I think Spider-Man Homecoming is probably the best, single-handedly, the best Spider-Man film, live-action Spider-Man film we have gotten to date. It was just amazing. And this trailer, I was going into it and I was like, okay, Spider-Man's getting a reset. The things that I don't like will probably be gone, and they can focus on the things that make Spider-Man Spider-Man while still having some tension, because they show that he's not entirely ready to leave MJ and Ned. And holy shit, everything I was hoping for is coming in this movie. It's going to be awesome. See the movie. Oh my god, this is genuinely peak. When they show the inside of the mask, in the trailer. Oh my god, dude, oh my god. The Todd McFarlane reference where he's swinging and it's got the spaghetti. When he's swinging and it's got the spaghetti webs that go all around him. This is peak art. When he does that stuff. Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man is peak art. As much as I love the Spider-Man Wolverine comic, if you go and watch my review of that, genuinely, I loved that comic, and I love the art in it because it reminds me so much of Todd McFarlane's and the way that the eyes are drawn. This is so good. When he jumping off the roof scene, and not even that he jumped off the roof, it's when he's diving and the fabric, it's bunching up. The fabric bunches up and it ruffles in the wind. He has a real suit. It's not just nanotech bullshit or Tony Stark bullshit. It's a real fucking suit. Oh my god. And when I was watching the behind the scenes, right? So before the trailers released, like last year, there was some behind the scenes footage, and they were like showing him swinging, and they were doing practical effects of him swinging, and he has these big chunky silver things. I'm like, oh, are those just to attach him to the practical effects, or are those going to be web shooters? They're web shooters. We get some real Peter Parker shit in here, and the best part is, right, so the best part to me is simply this: Peter Parker is a genius. That is the point. He is hailed by Reed Richards as very, very smart, potentially to be the smartest mind on the planet Earth, because he can take nothing and turn it into something. In the comics, all of his gadgets and everything are made with genuinely scraps. He makes electronic webs out of a DVD player. That's not canon, it's just something he fucking made up, but it's an example of, like, he just takes shit that he finds and turns it into the webs. And I thought that was so ruined in Homecoming, because sure, they show him mixing the fluid and he made his own web fluid, but then all of his special webs are just Tony Stark bullshit. All of his, like, actual cool shit that Spider-Man typically makes himself is just Tony Stark bullshit, but he's got actual chunky web shooters that he has that's genuinely so awesome, and they look clean and they look good on the design. And the way that Peter Parker just lives in this apartment, and he tries to talk with Ned and MJ, and there's that Peter Parker life in, like, Spider-Man life, Peter Parker life, and they struggle against each other. That hasn't been shown in his movies to the extent that it should be, because that's part of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, and what makes Peter Parker interesting as a character is that when Peter Parker wins, Spider-Man loses, and when Spider-Man wins, Peter Parker loses, and they're actually going to showcase that. Oh, I used to pray for days like this, because I don't think he has the best side cast of characters, if I'm being honest. Like MJ and Ned, the other ones, but they have given MJ and Ned, now that they've forgotten him, and it feels like it's taking on its own identity. This movie is allowing his Spider-Man to take on its own identity, so I can hopefully stop seeing Ned as another funny MCU guy and as an actual fucking character. Hopefully he has room to grow, because when these movies were first coming out, that's what I thought of him as, and when I'm seeing this movie, I don't think of him like that anymore. And the MJ, there's actually like way more room for good writing. I could complain about No Way Home's writing for forever, because I think I think Homecoming is the best Spider-Man live-action movie we've ever gotten, and then followed by No Way Home, which is the worst, in my opinion. And I could talk about that forever, but like, they're doing it, dude. It's going to be so awesome. And all the characters that I didn't like Flash. I thought Flash was genuinely a terrible interpretation of Flash in every way you could conceive. And he's gone. As of what this trailer shows us, he is not going to be relevant to the story or super prevalent at all. And that is peak. That is awesome. It is amazing. The other things that I want to talk about were his narration, his overview, where he's talking like, hey, Spider-Man had to do some things so sometimes Peter Parker has to do some things to make sure Spider-Man succeeds and the world doesn't end. That's peak in the way that he thinks about it, and this movie should have some sort of scene, should, in quotes, I assume it will have, is what I'm saying, some sort of scene where he has this dilemma of where does Peter Parker end and Spider-Man stops, and where does Spider-Man end and Peter Parker starts, which is peak. It's why that scene where, as Peter Parker, when he had lost his powers in Spider-Man 2 because he couldn't make up his mind, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man runs into the building to save them anyways, because there is no ending of Spider-Man and beginning of Peter Parker. He thinks of them as two different ways, but they are the same person. His overwhelming need to help people, and it's not just a mantra for him. He genuinely believes it. If he's sick in the hospital and people die, that's on him because he should have saved them. That's the coolest part about Spider-Man. That's what makes him interesting and different from characters who just follow the mantra to do the right thing, right? And like he is probably going to be experiencing that, and especially the after effects of that after wiping everyone's memory, which I thought was a cop-out to reset things because they didn't know where to go with it, but genuinely, I think it might be the best decision ever after seeing this movie. And then the way that he interacts with the other superheroes in this trailer, oh my god! It feels like a comic book. It feels like I am reading a comic book, and Spider-Man's chasing down the tanks, and then bam, gets hit in a car by the Punisher. Now, of course, it might be different in the movie, but watching the trailer, that's so comic booky that they just happen to be there and he gets hit by a car, and it's because it's a Spider-Man comic, he just incapacitates him real quickly. Funny gag. It shows that they're in a connected universe without overly relying on the other. Like, even if you have no idea who Punisher is, you go, wow, that's another superhero, that's another vigilante. And Spider-Man just shut him up and said, hey, go home, I got this covered. Like, you don't even have... Because I thought that the most recent MCU movies are too reliant on each other. You can't watch one without watching 5 others. But this one doesn't feel that way. I mean, obviously you need to know Spider-Man, you probably need to know this Spider-Man's history, but you can just watch these Spider-Man films and get it, and that is incredible, and it feels so comic booky when he does that. And just, hey, Professor Banner, which, hold up, I mean, I've been tapped out of the MCU, everything that wasn't Doctor Strange or Spider-Man or Fantastic Four related for, I think, 2 years now, but I thought they were one person now, which I didn't like, so I'm glad they're separated and they're back to Hulk and Bruce Banner, and I hope they actually do an interesting adaptation of Hulk lore, because Hulk is such a cool character in the comics, and it's a shame that I only read synopses and watch reviews of them, because it's a shame. I should actually start getting them. Instead of trying out Deadpool, I should try out Hulk, because it's from what I have seen and what I have read, it is goated. But this film is incredible. The way he just walks up to Bruce Banner is like, hey, what's wrong with me? It's so comic booky. And I'm pretty sure they're adapting the one story, and this is probably going to be minor spoilers for the movie, quote unquote. It's kind of just spoilers, and I'm talking about a comic book that exists that follows the same similar theme. So be warned, I guess, if you want that. But there's a comic book where Spider-Man starts to feel sick, and he's like, I'm losing my powers. And he goes to the Fantastic Four, and they say, oh, he used the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and then they eventually, like, the greatest minds on Earth, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And they're like, well, the radiation inside of you is eating you. The radioactive Spider-Man, you're essentially, the radioactive spider that bit you, it's finally catching up to you, and it's kind of eating you. And you're dying because of it. It's not actually eating him. Words are hard right now. I am just so hype. Words are so fucking hard. And then after that, they go to Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner says, I can't do anything about it. Even though I'm the world expert on radiation, there's nothing I can do about it. And then he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange says it's too powerful for even magic to fix. And then he gets so weak, he keeps fighting crime whenever he can, blah, blah, blah. Ends up in the hospital after a terrible accident. And Moreland, well, I think he fights Moreland, and Moreland puts him in the hospital. And then Moreland comes to the hospital and attacks Mary Jane. And then Spider-Man, he gets up, beats Mary Jane with the whoa, not a wife beater. He beats Moreland with the last of his energy and dies, and then wakes up and tears himself out of a cocoon after being given a second chance. I'm either mixing up my storylines, or it is by the spider goddess. I don't remember which one. It's some spider deity, or that's a different storyline. I might be mixing them up. But I think that's what they're adapting with the cocoon that he crawls out of, and it looks like he gets caught by organic webs, which we're going to slow down the hype train. I think that's what they're adapting, and that's a really cool way to adapt it as just an intro to this Spider-Man, because realistically, this Spider-Man is a different, it's the same person but a different character than the first three Spider-Man movies and Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame Spider-Man that we have seen. It is objectively a different person because he's gone through so much. He's gone through so much that on a fundamental level, this character is so changed, he is unrecognizable from how he was in the beginning, outside of he is Spider-Man. And I think that's why I can look at him and all of his side characters differently in this one, just because I've been there, I've experienced it. Even the stuff I didn't like, it genuinely, well, some of the stuff that I didn't like genuinely affected him as a person, and it just solidifies into, after he erases everyone's memories, he is on his own, and he becomes a completely different person. To the point where even if MJ recovered all his memories, her memories, maybe she wouldn't even like him, is my theories and predictions. But I do have one tiny maybe complaint. It looks like he catches himself with organic webbing. And Spider-Man gets organic webbing a few times in the comics. It's not unheard of. A lot of Spider-Man from other dimensions tend to have organic webbing. It's just something they do sometimes when they feel like it. It's nitpicky, right? When I say, oh, I don't like it, I don't mean that I think it's bad. Because I think it's fine. I think if that's the story they're adapting, then it's amazing. It's pretty cool. But you gave him cool-ass web shooters, dude. You gave him actual web shooters that display his genius. That he could take, like, the shit that he finds and turn it into something like that. Something that robust and that good. And they're actually big. That's my only complaint with the Amazing Spider-Man ones. They're, like, tiny. They're like that. They're not supposed to be that big. They're supposed to... Sometimes they're entire gauntlets so that we can have extra cartridges of web shooters. They're supposed to be big. I'll do it this way. They're supposed to... No, that didn't work. They're supposed to be, like, big so that way you can take a cartridge off his belt. Like, you flip up a patch, put it in, flip it down. Like, it's rudimentary technology that he makes into a masterpiece. It's not a tiny nanotech type thing that just has infinite web inside of it. And I think that's cool, and I think they probably won't do him replacing web cartridges on the fly. They probably won't, let's be so for real. But it'd be cool, and I think it's a shame to have such a big development for this character and displaying that genius through his web shooters, which is the main way you're going to display that genius, through his web shooters and his ability to create different webs for the scenario, and his ability to adapt to the scenario by seeing things around him and going, oh, it's got this, I can use this against you, right? Those are the biggest ways you're going to display that shit, and I think going from that to organic webs in the same film might be a little disingenuous to the character, but that doesn't make me not excited for the movie. I'm actually really excited for the movie even more because the way that it's edited makes it look like it could be a dream. Could be a dream sequence. I mean, I think the chances of that are low, but it could be. Because later in the trailer, and we don't know when these events take place, obviously, he still has the web shooters. I think there was only one scene where it looked like he didn't have it, but I didn't watch it on slow-mo to find out if he had web shooters. I went, oh, maybe he does have organic webbing. I was rewatching it, and I went, I think he might not have had it there. But I didn't go back and analyze it. I mean, I'm not that kind of reviewer or whatever. I'm not going to analyze it frame by frame. I'm just going to tell you how much it fucking is awesome. How much it's fucking awesome, and Awesome's wife. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Genuinely, go watch the trailer. If you haven't watched the trailer, go watch it. If you haven't watched those movies, watch all 3 of the other Spider-Man movies, and then the other ones that he's in. If you haven't watched those, if you have already watched them, rewatch them so you have the context for this character. Because this movie's going to be peak. It comes out July 31st. I can't wait. They're making me wait too long, actually. They should have waited to release this trailer, in my opinion, because I'm a bitch. And I would have preferred them release the trailer and then release the movie a week later. That way I wouldn't have to wait. Because now that I've seen it, I want it. I want it so bad. I want it so badly. Yeah. That's about it for me. I just think that's my review of the trailer, I guess. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Genuinely, this could be peak Spider-Man. Especially from a live action film. I think this could be peak. That's about it for me today. What will I...